Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 203. It's Friday, May 10th. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
All right, so on today's show, we're recapping Google I/O, Google's big developer festival. You can't call it a conference anymore. It's 100% festival. So Google's developer festival was this week. I was there for portions of it. There's lots to talk about there. We'll actually probably just like rapid fire through a bunch of this stuff because there's so much stuff going on. We got news on OnePlus 7 Pro. I feel like every week now we know 5 more official things about the OnePlus 7 Pro. OnePlus is kind of like the king of like the slow like troll out of features. You know, they've done this for years, but so we'll catch you up on that. There's some news on the Galaxy Fold. And then we have trivia. Trivia is back again. We're going to give everyone $10 Google Play credit for answering those properly. If you're new around here, at the end of the show, after we run through topics, we do trivia. 5 questions, 5 winners, and we're giving $10 in Google Play credit to everyone who wins this week. As a reminder, we are donating donations to the Oregon Humane Society for the next 2 months. So if you're watching live and you do want to drop a donation, and we'll cover some because we've already got some that have rolled through, but for the next 2 months, we are handing 100% of donations that you drop during the show to the Oregon Humane Society. So last week we had a massive batch of donations. It was pretty wild, actually. So we'll hopefully keep that rolling and give back to all the animals.
Power to the puppies
of the world. So donations already rolled in. Bert dropped $2 before the show started. Says, got the 3A. Love it. Always enjoy the show. Thank you, Bert. PC747 dropped $10 before the show as well. Says, love what you guys are doing with these donations. Big ups. And then Russell just dropped $2 as well to kick off the beginning of the show. So yeah, if you're listening live and you want to donate, again, all 100% donations are going to Oregon Humane Society at the end of, I guess that would be June, right? Yeah, end of June. So when we do our last show for June, then we'll be donating. Can't wait to see how much we can total there. So
yeah, and the following show we'll let you know how much y'all raised.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated on all that so you guys can see how much you've given and all that. It's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's Jorge just gave $2 as well. Thank you, Jorge, for the $2. Patrick with another $2 is puppies and kitties.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. Great start there. Thank you. Thanks, guys. All right, so let's dive into topics. So Google I/O Developer Festival, 3 days, started on Tuesday, ended yesterday. Big keynote was on Tuesday morning, so I was there on hand for that. We took all that in. You could stream it. Everyone could pay attention to that if they wanted to. And Google announced, what they're working on across all of their platforms, from Google Assistant to Android to Chrome to, well, they didn't really talk Android TV or Wear OS, but they talked about all the other stuff. This year, they also announced a bunch of new hardware, which they've kind of steered away from in the last couple of years and tried to maybe announce like hardware that may be coming down the road. This one, they announced hardware that's like available right now. So they announced the Pixel 3a and 3a XL. These were not secrets at all. We saw them leak first back in like October of last year. They are now official though, and you can buy them. Like, I have one right here. This is the Pixel 3a. I know it just looks like a Pixel 3, but trust me, it is the plastic cheaper version, which is the 3a and 3a XL. Let's see. What do you need to know? Well, they are
not
available.
Much.
Yeah, I know. We've kind of talked about a lot of this stuff, right? So now that they're official, though, $400 for the 3A and $479 for the 3A XL, which is slightly bigger. The 3A has a 5.6-inch display and 3,000 milliamp hour battery. The XL is a 6-inch display with a 3,700 milliamp hour battery. So the big difference is you're paying $80 more to get the bigger one for 0.4 inches in display and 700 extra milliamp hours in battery. I'm not here to tell you if that is worth it or not. I'll let you decide because the rest of the specs are identical. Snapdragon 670 processors, 4 gig RAM, 64 gig storage. The Pixel 3's 12.2 megapixel f1.8 camera. They have USB-C ports. They have 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks. They have squeezy sides, just like the Pixel 3. Fingerprint readers. They even have stereo sound, which I'm actually surprised they have stereo sound. We never see that on cheaper phones. So they have almost everything from the Pixel 3, just like slightly lesser processor, obviously.
No water resistance.
You can't like double the storage or anything. 64 is all there is. 1080p displays on both models, whereas like the regular Pixel 3 XL has a quad HD. Neither have a notch, and they're plastic, no wireless charging either, but do have fast wired. So they are available, and you can buy them unlocked for those prices. But Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, US Cellular, and there was some other like random carrier. Visible, who's kind of a part of Verizon, they have it. Google Fi. So all these places have them, which is a big deal because that means the Verizon Pixel exclusivity is over. And that includes the Pixel 3, by the way. You can buy the Pixel 3 at other carriers now too. Or is that coming soon? Can you do that now? Like, can you go to T-Mobile and buy a regular Pixel 3 right now? Or is that like a coming soon thing?
I don't know.
I haven't actually looked, and they weren't super clear about that on stage. The Pixel 3a is available everywhere right now for sure, but I'm now looking at T-Mobile's website for the regular Pixel 3.
Yeah.
Will probably tell me.
So Wonk, he was asking, is it worth selling my 6T for the Pixel 3a? I mean, we could get into that and like what it's worth, but I would say no. Like, keep your 6T.
6T is probably a better phone still, except for the camera maybe, just because this does have, these 3As do have
the same camera. It's tough to say. It really depends on what you value. I mean, if you value hardware, then I would keep the 6T. If you want a better camera experience in a plastic body and that pixel experience, then I guess the 3A is not bad, or the 3A XL.
Does T-Mobile really not have these on their website? Am I missing something? What the hell's going on there? Like, I can't find them on T-Mobile's website. So, did anyone say in the chat what's going on there? I swear they were selling them already. Maybe not.
Not seeing. Why don't you guys have all the answers for us? You can't expect us to do all the research.
I just thought they were all supposed to be available right now. Like I said, they weren't super clear about that, but
yeah.
Oh my God, the donations are flooding in too.
Yeah, J Mill with the 5 says, "What's up, guys? Long time no see." Scott Washington with the 5. If I use my current $100 Google credit, do I get another 100 when I get the 3A? Also, save the fur babies.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Not 100% sure on that. And then Luke Citroniti with the $5. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Save those for
babies. Page is back on the website. T-Mobile website sucks. I don't know. I think you're supposed to be able to.
I agree with T-Mobile website sucks.
It does actually
that
suck.
Statement.
It's very hard to navigate. I mean, most of the carrier sites aren't great, but T-Mobile's is really not good. Anyway, so the Verizon exclusivity is over. All these carriers are supposed to be selling it. If you're not finding it at them yet, it should be arriving very, very soon. I know Verizon's for sure already selling the 3As. Many places are doing either discounts, or if you buy them, you get like $100 credits, which is what Scott was referring to there. So if you buy the 3A or 3A XL at Best Buy, they'll give you a $100 Best Buy gift card to spend. If you buy it on the Google store, they'll give you $100 in Google credit to spend. And then if you go to like B&H Photo, they'll give you a $100 credit to gift card to spend at B&H. So spend $400 or $470 or $480, and then like they just give you an extra $100 to spend on whatever. So there are deals to be had.
Always.
Yeah. So let's see. I've spent the past 2.5 days or something with the phone. I will say that like these phones will probably be pretty good options, I think, for most people. I mean, I'll have a review up eventually of this thing.
Eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get there.
Kellen's a busy guy.
I don't know why I'm not in a super rush to review this, but it's a pretty simple thing. Like, it's most of the Pixel 3 package at $400, and the camera's good. And I kind of did a write-up yesterday about this, how like there's nothing like really, really exciting unless you just want a $400 phone that might have one of the best cameras. And that's kind of all you need to know. It's like, this phone works everywhere. It's $400, which seems like a decent price point. And it should have one of the best cameras in a phone, which most $400 phones probably can't really say. I do like it. It's got Google's software experience, if you are a fan of that. Like, using it, it felt very much like you're using the regular Pixel 3. So that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
Because you're spending, $400 less for it. I've seen some people suggest that like the display is really bad, like other people that have had the phone. Like, I really do not have that complaint. That it's a bad display. So I don't know.
$400 phone. I don't know really, like, what can you expect?
Right.
I think iFixit in their teardown said, the display is rather thin. But of course, it's a $400 phone. I see a lot of people asking. I've even seen people asking if they should trade in their S10 or over the Pixel 3. I don't know what kind of question that is. I don't know how to answer that. Two very different phones, two very different price points. I would say if you already have the Galaxy S10, just hold on to that. And I would also probably recommend the Galaxy S10 over a Pixel 3 at this moment. Just
yeah, we've seen a lot of people say, like, is this phone something you should like trade in over a Pixel 2 XL or a Pixel 3 or a Galaxy S10? Like, this is a mid-range phone, so if you have a Pixel 3, I don't think you would buy this over a Pixel 3 or trade it or whatever. And a Galaxy S10 is a better phone. Like I pointed out that like the OnePlus 7 Pro, which isn't even out, will probably be a better phone. I mean, those are flagship phones. They have the best processors and everything else. This just happens to have a really good camera, which may be all somebody wants, but I don't think we should compare this to like the S10, Pixel 3. And I think that's where people are kind of like missing the point. Like, this isn't supposed to compete with those. It's supposed to just be the best in the $300 to like $400 or $500 range rather than like compete with the Galaxy S10. At least that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, it's a $400 phone, and it's a good one, which is totally fine. It doesn't need to be like the greatest phone ever. It's like when the iPhone XR was announced, everyone's like, "Oh, this is the phone you should buy," and it was still like a $750 phone. It wasn't even this cheap. But
Evan was asking, should he trade in his car for the Pixel 3a? Depends on the car. There's some cars I probably would trade, but others I probably would not.
People keep saying my volume is low and that yours is too loud. We keep getting this. Like, we've heard this a lot recently, and like I thought we had it balanced last show, and now
it's hard to level.
It's really annoying.
I haven't seen anyone complaining about it. I turned mine down like a little bit manually, so.
And I just turned mine up too, so maybe that. Yeah, see, and then Ben says it's fine, so I can't really tell. Like some people,
it's okay.
It's okay enough. I mean, I can just like get really in here. I can see it peaking right now, so this is probably not good.
Oh yeah.
We'll get this balanced, baby. We will get it balanced. Oh my god, I don't know what happened to Tim. Did he just disappear from everyone else's stream? Oh, there you are. You're back. That was weird. Dude, it was like a disconnect.
My whole system like froze. My computer froze.
Just right there. You're back now.
Okay, thank goodness.
Yeah,
anyway,
Droid Life ASMR. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Volume is fine. We'll just go with it. I turned mine up a little bit. Tim said he turned himself down a little bit, so we'll go with it. Yeah, the Pixel 3a. Like, if your budget is $400, I don't know why you would buy another phone, because also at this price point, I don't know that there's a lot of options. You know, like the $400 price point. Remember the Moto X4? That kind of. Even up close to stuff. I don't know. Like, everyone's audio is all over the place. I can't really figure it out. So, but so when the Moto X4 was released a couple years ago, it kind of created the $400 price points, and then we haven't really seen a bunch of stuff enter. Like, everyone kind of tries to hover, like the Moto G line, for example. They're always trying to kind of be like around the 200, 250 range. So 400 is kind of in between all that. I don't really know what it's competing with, but like if your budget's 300, it's one of those things where I don't think I would recommend anyone buy the G7 over this. I would say like spend the extra $100 over a Moto G7 and buy this. But either way, I think everyone's been happy with it. I don't know if anyone in the chat has said that they bought one, but I think people will be happy with this phone. Comes in 3 colors: black, white, purple. That's a nice little phone.
Purple-ish.
Purplish, yes. One thing to point out, that the plastic, I mean, I'm never going to sit here and tell you like this is really premium plastic, but it doesn't feel like it's the cheapest phone. However, I think we're so used to everything being metal and glass that in hand it's a little shocking. Like the weight here, there's just like, it doesn't feel like there's much because it's not all freaking glass and metal. And maybe that's kind of a good thing. Like my write-up, I mentioned that one of the nice things has been not being worried about where I set it. If my kid's around to knock it off like a table, or for me to knock it off a table, or to set it down, or to put it down like a little harder than normal, like it's not going to crack. It's plastic. Whereas, like the Pixel 3, this could crack. Galaxy S10, this could crack. Like everything is glass and fragile. And this phone, you kind of don't really have to worry about that, which has been kind of a nice extra bonus there.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about glass, so.
I know. You hate it.
I do.
Super underwhelmed. Sorry,
Couple of donations. John with the Swedish krona again of 10. That is the 10 Swedish krona. Alex dropped $5. Thank you guys so much for the donations. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. As I was saying, just super underwhelmed by these phones. I think it's great that Google launched them, this sort of mid-range, very accessible Pixel devices. But, just because we cover what we cover, it's just sort of underwhelming, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't even touched one. So I just I know what they feel like. I don't even have to touch them to know.
I can tell you right now that you'll hold this thing and you'll go, all right, this like how I just described how it feels really light and plastic. It's fine, and then you would probably move on. Is I think how you do it, and that's mostly because you and I tend to focus on the high end phones only. But
spoiled, we're spoiled brats.
Yes, we are spoiled brats.
And for that, I apologize.
Eli says, guys, you're looking at it from perspective being in the U.S. and buying official only. There are a ton of phones in the price range and actually better. Yeah, I mean, Eli, like we only really focus on the U.S. ever. So like I don't know the price setup and offerings of like $400 in other countries. I just don't because all we really focus on is just what's going on in the U.S. So let's see. We ran a poll, though. We asked if the homies are buying.
Are they buying?
Pixel 3a. I don't know. Droid Life slow and won't load, so I can't really tell you at the moment.
Gosh, call it a day.
It is. Yeah, call it a day. 66% said nope, and 18 and 16% said yeah. So I don't know. 34% of readers might be buying one. That's actually not bad for a phone in this range.
Sure. That Pixel brand carries some weight, man.
It does, yeah. It certainly does. So yeah, I'll have a review up eventually, and we'll talk a little bit more deeply about it. But what I will say is, like, I've spent 2.5 days with it. At that, if that's your price range, I would say, yeah, you're probably gonna be pretty happy. You're gonna get software updates for 3 years.
True.
Funny little fact: it's running March's security patch, and it's May, so it's already 2 months. It's 2 months behind. And apparently they're not going to push the first update till the June patch, so another month. So it'll be like 3 months behind, and then they'll like get on track monthly. But just throwing that out there, it is already behind. It's part of the Android Q beta too. If you want to get in the beta, which we'll talk about in a second, I would not recommend that, but you could.
Gosh.
All right. In other hardware news, Google made official the Nest Hub Max, which is the bigger version of the Google Home Hub, which has now been rebranded to the Google Nest Hub. So Home Hub Max looks just like Nest Hub Max looks just like the Home Hub, but bigger, but it does have a camera, whereas the littler guy doesn't have a camera. It's like a full-blown Nest Cam pretty much, isn't it? Or at least has all the smarts, I think, of a Nest Cam. 10-inch display starts at $229, which seems like a pretty good deal. We don't know when it's going to be available, right? They didn't announce a date for the Nest Hub Max, I don't think. They just said later this year. Is that really all they said?
Yep.
So $229 though, once it arrives. They also dropped the price on the Nest Hub from $150 to $129. So that's got a permanent discount going forward, which is fantastic. But it does things like what? Like it knows your face. It recognizes your face because it has the Nest Cam. And so when you walk in the room, it'll pull up stuff that's like specific to you, like your playlist and your news and your calendar. And then when you leave the room and somebody else comes in, it should recognize their face and do the same thing. So it's very much a spy cam of AI creepiness. Of course, you can like block it and turn the camera off so it doesn't do any of that stuff, which most people should probably do unless they don't mind Google just staring at them all the time, analyzing their every move. I don't know if the sound will be great on this thing. On the regular little Home Hub, it's not like exceptional, but this is bigger, so maybe the audio will be better. What else is there to know about this thing? It's really just like a bigger Home Hub with a camera. The camera is like all the fancy stuff, but again, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily concerned about the camera. I think it's cool. I also think it's cool that it would recognize, if a stranger's there and could potentially alert you to someone else's presence in your home while you're away.
That's true.
I don't know the percentage of like break-in statistics. Like, I just don't know how often that occurs. I'm not really worried about that happening in my home. Good luck to anyone who does. But the point is, it's good that those features exist. However, let's say the way my kitchen is set up, there's nowhere I could put that thing for it to actually be useful in terms of being like a camera. I think one of the things they were showing where like a dog was like up on the counter and like, hey owner, I'm in front, like I'm cute.
Well, and they kind of showed it as being a security camera too, but they kept showing it in kitchen. So yeah, like somebody gets all the way to your kitchen.
Exactly. And my front door is like around a wall. It's like I don't have like an open concept place, maybe like all the rich Googlers have. So, it's not really going to work like that for me, which is unfortunate because that would be cool. I guess I just have to upgrade houses. So I'm not really turned off by the whole camera thing. I think it's cool. Like I walk in the morning and it tells me, hey, here, Tim, here's your schedule, even though I never have anything on my calendar.
Same. Yeah, same.
But it could be cool for some people. I also think it's good that it's like bigger. So I'm interested, but I'm probably not going to be going out of my way to try and acquire one.
Yeah, unless they send me a review unit to test for a while, I kind of don't see myself buying one. I already have the Lenovo one in my kitchen now, so this could replace that, I guess. And then I have the little hub like right in front of me on my desk. So yeah, I don't see the need. But yeah, if you don't have those and you want a camera on one to do video chatting and have it recognize your face, yeah, at $229, that seems like a pretty good deal there.
Yeah, that's not terrible. Mike Horvath in chat. Anyone know if you have to buy the Nest subscription with this device? It's a good question.
Yeah, so part of one of the next things we were going to get into was like this weird new merging of Google and Nest. Yeah. And so let's talk about that, and I think we'll touch on pricing and how that works, because there's a lot of like question marks around this thing. So at I/O, one of the things happened that we sort of expected to happen was Google and Nest like even merged further. So the Nest hardware team has come under Google's hardware team as of I think like last year or something, and now they're like really there, and so they're turning the Nest brand into the Google Nest brand. And then Google Home is kind of going away. So all the home products that Google sells right now, including Nest, are all going to go under this Google Nest brand. So that's why it's the Google Nest Hub and the Google Nest Hub Max. And I believe all their thermostats and cameras are all going to be like the Google Nest Smart Home Learning or Smart Learning Thermostat or whatever. Like the Google thing is going to go in front of the Nest branding. As far as Google Homes go, I have no idea how they're going to rebrand those. Are they Google Nest Home Mini, Google Nest Home Speaker, Google Nest Speaker? I have no idea what they're going to actually do there, because like the home part is built into the branding and name. Anyways, that's all sort of confusing. But where that kind of takes us though is like, well, what happens to the Nest app and the Google Home app? Like those, you have two separate apps, and the Nest app, which is not really that great of an app, is very specific to like security and using Nest in sort of that like arena, this as like a secure home device sort of setup, whereas Google Home is more like let's play media and crap like that, right? So like they need to sort of merge those between the two. And then back to whoever it was that asked about pricing, like we don't know, because Nest Aware, you currently pay like this separate subscriptions depending on your cameras to have however many days of feeds and all this stuff. But if that becomes a Google thing, like is it called Google Nest Aware and they keep it, or does it become Google like One, which is like the Google Drive storage, right, that you can pay for? I don't know that we actually have concrete answers to any of that. So it's going to be this really weird merging. They're also doing away with the Works with Nest program, and it's going to be like a Works with Google Assistant program. So like some stuff might break. Like if you have some integrations with other like products that are non-Google that work through your Nest thermostat and things like that, like those may just not work anymore. And you're going to have to like reroute them through Google Assistant.
It's so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not a huge.
Alex says I need to go to a tanning salon. It's just the lighting in the camera. I promise I actually have a little bit of a glow. Went to run last week. It's the lighting in here. I mean, I am like one white dude, but I'm not as white as what you're seeing on the camera. I promise.
It's a very paley glow you got going on right now.
It's very cool. It's not warm.
Yeah,
I can turn some lights
cool.
on. I have the lights completely off, and there's like the daylight is shining through.
Yeah, so it's white. It's white light.
Which is. I promise I am not quite this bluish white.
Ghostly.
Yeah. Thank you, though, Alex, for suggesting that.
Muck Reimer donated $2 in the chat. He asked, "What do we think?" Sorry, just not sure exactly what we think about what. Feel free to put your question down in the chat again. I promise I'll see it.
Looking like Twilight. Damn right, I'm looking
like Twilight. Yeah,
we live like only a few miles from where Twilight was all filmed. I think it was like just in Washington. I think across the whole border here. So anyway, the Google Nest stuff is very confusing. I don't really know how it's all going to shake out. I think it's going to take a while for the Google Nest app to go away. Like there's subscriptions with Nest Aware that need to probably transition if they do that. There's a lot going on there. I also am wondering if that's why there's constant sales around all the Google Home products, because they need to get rid of all that packaging so that it says like Google Nest Home Hub and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't really understand. I don't think the branding was really ever a problem. I thought it was fine.
It's more confusing than ever.
Exactly. Google's great at this. We know just because Google Play Music, YouTube Music, etc. Oh, they're really good at creating like these cluster problems that they have to work their way out of. Because it never just happens. It always sort of rolls out, and it's this like elongated thing that doesn't need to be an issue if they would just like do it. But
if they could have just gotten rid of the Nest brand, it probably would have made even more sense. Like everything could have been Google Home, like Google Home Camera, Google Home Thermostat.
I guess it depends on what they value more, but it seems they don't really value either one more heavily than the other. Nest seems like a very good brand that's got that recognition, right? Like people who don't know about Google Home probably know about Nest, maybe, or maybe the other way around. I wonder if
people have always considered them to be sort of separate, and so Google's trying to make them not feel so separate, but now it just feels weird. Especially weird because they are kind of two different product categories. I know they're all smart home, but Google Home has always been kind of about entertainment and speakers and Google Assistant, whereas Nest has really taken on this home security side of everything, like cameras. They have the Nest Secure thing, doorbells, and partnerships with Yale Lock and all that stuff. So Nest always kind of seemed like it was becoming this more like home security system, whereas Google Home was always like, we're about media and Google Assistant. So they seemed like two different things. I think they were fine separate, but Google doesn't make anything easy. So
no, they do not.
Anyway, so getting back to the question about Nest Aware and what you're going to pay, I don't think we actually know the answer to that quite yet.
Yeah,
I'm not sure even Google knows what we're doing there.
Yeah, I'm confused still.
I'm actually pretty confused too.
That's okay.
All right, let's talk about Android Q. So Android Q Beta 3 is out. It was released at Google I.O., just like Google kind of does at every I.O. They release a new beta. This beta, I feel like this is the third beta. Usually you get more stable as we kind of get further along. This one feels like almost worse than the last two.
We're getting jankier.
It seems like we're getting jankier. And part of that could be because they introduced a new gesture navigation, which is really hard to get used to, and it kind of breaks. It breaks some stuff too. But they finally confirmed that a dark theme is indeed coming. That works mostly fine. Although whenever you hit that button, it takes like a while to flip over, and it's kind of slow and janky as well.
I feel bad for complaining about this, but it's too dark.
Because it's black. It's black.
Yeah,
it's a true
black.
Dark. Yeah.
I never wanted like black. I want dark mode. Like a dark Twitter, like what they have. Yeah, like a dark gray, like we've seen before. Yeah. Not this black. Come on.
I think you'll find people on both sides of that, because a lot of people want it because they think it'll save in battery, right? Because it's especially on an AMOLED, right? Whereas
screw your battery.
Whereas, I'm kind of with you. I'd rather just be really dark gray, like really dark gray. Yeah, like you said with Twitter, and not black. Because, yeah, like looking at a black screen with the contrast of color is usually kind of jarring to your eyes. Whereas like the Twitter app, I love the color of that kind of like off bluish gray or whatever it is.
Yeah, Consumer Life in the chat says if dark theme is the best Android Q feature, then we're effed. I'm with that. Like, pretty much. Yeah. And this gesture thing. Okay,
have you been using it? Yet? Yeah, let's talk about the gesture, the bad gestures.
God, it's so broken awful. Because Google doesn't have the foresight to say, oh wait, all of our applications use the slide out drawer, the hamburger. Yes, you can swipe from the right. It's just not a very natural thing considering the back button has been on the left side of the Android UI for its entire life. Yeah. So swiping from the left, total nightmare in terms of the phone not knowing what you want it to do, and it also prioritizes the back button when you're swiping from the left. In Gmail especially, this is a problem, right? Because if I'm swiping through emails, like delete. Oh, just went back. No, never. So now I'm like, okay, I'll just swipe from the right in Gmail, and when I swipe from the left, it will sometimes pull out the menu and not go back. What a nightmare. So I stopped using it. I said, nope, no more. And so the problem is, now hear me out. So Gmail just got a huge redesign. We've been waiting for this redesign for a long time, and it still has that slide out menu. So now do we have to wait for Gmail to get updated again to include the bottom navigation, like what Google has been doing with its other applications?
I don't know.
It's just a mess. Like no one's talking to each other. There's this firewall, and they got to break down barriers at Google and let the teams talk to each other and say, here's what we're doing. Like app developer teams, get on your stuff and get that bottom navigation worked out because that's where Q's going. But no, they don't talk to each other. They don't have any foresight. So it's broken right now.
They must have something in mind to work on all of their apps that have these side menu. Like that's just kind of been the standard Android practice forever, is this side menu system, right? Slide out app menu drawer thing. So you have to imagine that somebody in all of the smart people that work at Google went, yeah, we can't like have a side swipe gesture because that will break every single app. So I'm assuming they must have some sort of, but I should never assume with Google because they do weird stuff like this all the time, and it doesn't seem like they ever think about it. I just don't really like them because like they are really weird to use. I'm sure I could train myself to get used to swiping back from either side, but like the gesture to get like if you just go to the home screen and try to get into the app switcher, it's almost impossible because it tries to swipe up the app drawer and then you like kind of hold and then you get it there. Like
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. And like Google Assistant, like I think the guys at Android Police are the only reason I know how to do this. And you like swipe from the corner in or something and like hold. Yeah. There. Yeah. See that? Like, because you can't hold home. So you swipe from the corner and hold for a second, and then it does Google Assistant. Like, what?
That's a nightmare.
And I know you can squeeze the side, but not every phone has squeezy side. So they're really bad. All they needed to do was use that stupid pill thing and just make a little swipe to the left. That was it. That's all they needed to do. Your thumb's already there. And then you could still tap to go home. And then you could swipe up on the pill if you needed to. The pill was actually fine. It just needed a gesture to go back. That's all we needed. Not whatever. I don't even know what this is, dude. It is so bad. It's so bad.
And speaking of Android Q, just beta 3 in general. Yeah, I got booted up the phone because I hadn't been using beta 2. Booted up the phone, downloaded beta 3, was using it a bit, had like 80 something app updates. I kept trying to like update and just kept force closing. I throw the phone. It just totally shatters. I'm over it. I just can't handle jank, man.
It doesn't seem like a great beta build. I mean, I asked the people on Twitter, and a couple were like, it's fine. And then I've had a bunch of other people go, yeah, something just seems off.
Yeah.
Let's see what else they put in there. So Android Q, they announced smart reply and suggested actions, which basically like if you get a notification and someone sent you a message that says like, hey, meet me at this place or whatever, it might show you like a Google Maps button to like quickly go to Google Maps. Like that stuff's kind of cool, assuming developers ever build that stuff in. One of the coolest things they showed was live caption. So Google said they figured out how to do all these really powerful processes like on the phone now instead of the cloud, like Google Assistant, which we'll talk about. But they created this thing called live caption that if you have your phone on silent and you're watching a video, it will do live real-time captions on the screen. And it should work for like anything. Like if you're on Twitch to YouTube to Google Photos, like any video playing in silent, like you can have live captions play, which is like amazing. I don't know how many times I can tell you like the Blazers are playing and I'm putting my kid to sleep and I need it on silent, and like I would love to be able to like read a couple of things going on there possibly. And obviously this isn't mostly for me. It's for people who have issues hearing and need to just be able to read. So it's just going forward, they'll just have this built in. So it's cool on multiple levels. So they showed that off. They talked a lot more about security and privacy, which, you know, is what it is.
Google talking about privacy.
Yeah.
Get out of here. No one trusts you.
Google. Yeah, it's kind of it is weird to hear them try to really come off as like the privacy leaders
Kings
of the world. Yeah.
I know. That's like Mark Zuckerberg talking about it. Get out of here. You don't have the right to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the worst one. We made fun of that last week. They announced this thing called focus mode, where kind of part of digital well-being, where instead of like waiting for apps to tell you that you've used them too much and you've set timers, you can actually just have apps kind of go silent and not bug you during certain times, which actually makes a lot more sense than the timers, I think. Like, it's 9 o'clock at night and you're like, look, I don't want to even be bugged by notifications from anything. You can turn those off during those times, stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. What else did they announce that was big? Those were kind of like the big Android Q stuff that they wanted to talk about. I think it's one of those versions of Android that I don't know that we're going to look back on and say like, this is the biggest update in a long, long time. But we finally got a dark theme, which people have been asking for about 17 years.
But it's too dark.
Yeah, it's too dark to some of us. Gestures. I mean, I can't imagine these are actually the final gestures, but then again, I should not assume anything with Google because they probably are. One of the things I didn't mention is they announced that security patches will actually come through Google Play now, which is kind of a big deal. Like we thought this was maybe coming, that they might do system updates or something like that through Google Play. But what they're going to do is like they've broken down like security bits in your phone into all these like little areas that they can update directly through Google Play, which should mean like non-Google phones will get security updates more often. At least that's the hope, right? So you'll get more security updates more often. That's a pretty big deal. These aren't full system updates, but the security stuff, which we talk quite a bit about. Yeah, those were kind of the big stuff. There's like some other little tweaks too, like one of the things that's broken is in notifications. You know how like you could do the one swipe one way and it lets you snooze notifications? Well, if you do that now, it like you can't snooze notifications anymore, and it brings up this thing that says, do you want interruptive or gentle notifications? And so you can categorize your notifications depending on if you want them to just pop up there or actually interrupt you.
Give it to me gently, Google.
Yeah, so they've done some things like that. They've changed a couple of things, but overall it just seems like a mostly broken build. I'm ready for beta 4 already.
Bring on beta 4.
I'm definitely ready for it.
New build, new problems.
Yeah, seriously, it's feeling like that.
Real quickly, I have to bring this up. Muck Rhymer. He talked about Google, her Pixel 4 pricing months away. But he was thinking, oh man, I'm trying to find it now. I'm close. If Google will start Pixel 4 at $550 at $650 and top out at $899. Yeah, so in my world, Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL just launch as they normally would, starting at $800 or whatever and going up. Yeah. And then next year, probably around the same time, we get the A again. Or they say, oh, the A didn't do so well, let's never do it again. I don't think the A is going to come out alongside. They're not going to ship a new A, a Pixel 4a alongside the 4 just a couple of months from now. That wouldn't make any sense. So I think it's just going to stay the same as it is. And maybe we'll get a new A next year, or maybe not. But yeah, right now, Pixel 4 probably starts at like $800.
Yeah, I kind of don't think they're going to do a 4A with the 4. That seems too close to this 3A. If Google wants to separate the year out and do one phone in October and then some other mid-range phones at this time, I don't have a problem with that. I always like to play with new phones.
And shout out to Phil for the $2 donation.
Thank you, Phil.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Pixel 4. Oh, it's too early to talk about Pixel 4.
Yeah, I'm not ready to talk about Pixel 4 yet. Yeah. I feel like the Pixel 3 is not even that old. I mean, I know it is. It's May, but it doesn't seem like it's that old.
No, it doesn't. Well, we just hasn't been a lot of phones released. I think, once the OnePlus 7 Pro comes, it'll be like, okay, I'm about ready for a new Pixel. And then the Galaxy Note's going to come. The Galaxy Note 10, that thing's got to be a beast.
We'll get a Moto in there. Maybe the Moto Razr.
Moto
probably
Razr.
Not. We'll probably get a Z4 first, which will be a bust. And then we'll be waiting for this Razr thing, which will probably never come. Or it'll come like in a year and a half.
That'd be nice. Consumer Life in the chat says, will Droid Life ever change from pink to another color?
Oh, hell no.
No, what are you talking about?
Nope.
We're like 10 years strong on pink.
Yeah.
Never letting it go.
No, never letting it go. All right, so Android Q Beta 3, at the same time that Google announced some of these new features, they said, oh, by the way, we're also opening this up to other devices that are non-Pixel devices, just like they did last year with the Pi Beta. At Google I/O. So this year we got 12 OEMs total that now have Q Beta devices, and that includes Google's Pixel, and 21 devices, at least as of today. Like they'll probably add more devices. Like I know OnePlus announced, well, so like Google lists out the 6T in their device page, but OnePlus says the 6 will get it, and I believe they've already said the OnePlus 7 Pro will get it. So more devices are coming, but right now we got 12 OEMs, 21 devices that are all part of the Q Beta. So if you own 6T, a phone from someone called Techno Mobile, there's a couple Xiaomi phones, Asus has a Zen phone, Huawei has a couple of phones, Sony has a phone, Nokia has a phone, Oppo has at least one. There's an LG G8 somehow a part of the beta. The Essential phone is still alive. Vivo has like 3 phones, and a company called Realme also is a part of it. So if you own any number of phones, obviously Samsung is not a part of that equation.
Nope.
You can get the Android Q Beta right now. So more what did they say? Is that more than double last year or double last year?
Yeah, about double last year. 21. That's impressive.
So very cool. They talked about it being a way to show that Project Treble is successful and things like that. And I hope that's what it means, because Project Treble, I don't know if that's what it means either, but
is that a treble?
Hopefully that is what that means. What we really care about is if Samsung were to get on board and be a part of this. But so yeah, lots of new devices. If you have any of those, feel free to flash it. I will say that last year when this beta dropped, I bought a Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S, which was a part of it, and it was bad. It was because those companies that ship really heavily skinned phones, when they put these betas on, it's bare bones stock Android, and they don't put a lot of effort into, I don't think, making sure the stuff works. So a lot of stuff is just broken. So depending on the phone, I would maybe hold off a little bit. And as we said, even on our Pixel phones, we don't really think the beta is that great right now. So I don't know if I would tell everyone to run out and flash that thing.
Gary Brown with the $1 donation. Thank you so much. And Robert Abramson. Hey, Kellen, there's something outside you need to see. It's called the sun.
If I can get this camera to like refresh or something. Like every once in a while when I turn it on and I haven't like there's like a way I have to turn it on for it to get colors right. Because like I'm telling you, my office is not this blue or this white. It's just like the way it turned on.
The sun gives off white light, people. It's okay.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm this golden and tan looking is because I have a yellow light shining on me right now.
I could try to like turn it off and back on, but it's fine. You guys could just bring the Twilight jokes. It's fine.
Ron Fleet with the $2 donation says, finally caught y'all on my break. Big fan. 4 years.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. Eddie Daniels with the 2. Ryan Connor with the 2.
Did you get Gary Brown with the $1?
Yes, I did. And then I went straight into Robert Abramson with his, it's called The Sun. You're sparkling, Kellen, dude.
Well, that's the other thing is like you can see a little bit of noise, so it looks like it's like kind of glistening in here.
Oh, sure.
It's just the camera. There's, I will fix it next week, guys, so you guys don't think I'm this white.
I think it's fine. It's fun. Anyway.
Kellen is a vampire. Damn right. This is Twilight. All right. Let's see. So the base security patch for Android dropped at the beginning of the week also, if you want to go grab that instead of the beta, which you should probably do. And we got updated Android distribution numbers for the first time in what, like 7 months? Since October?
6 months.
Yeah.
Half a year.
Yikes.
And big Android Pie coming in at 10.4%. Huge numbers. We haven't seen an Android version come in with that high of a percentage since ever. But that's thanks to them
really
waiting
fair, yeah.
half a year, and Samsung was able, given half a year, to update Galaxy S9, announce and release the Galaxy S10 that had Pi. So it was just, it doesn't count anymore, those numbers.
But it's even worse than that, though, because Pi came out in August. So you have August and September. Yeah. And then remember, we got to October and everyone's like, oh, it still hasn't debuted. So you can even add a couple months on. So that's what, like 8 months or something, we're up to 10%. And that's with, like you just said, Samsung. Otherwise, it would probably be at 2% or something. Not great.
Yeah. Yeah, Wade County, 10.4% of 2.5 billion devices. I'm not a human calculator. What is that, like 200 point some odd million? Which still seems kind of good. If that's accurate, or is it 20? Yeah, I don't know. It's just the way Android is. I don't think we're expecting anything else. We like pointing out the distribution numbers because we like poking fun at Google and how good they are at getting updates out there. Sort of like, Apple is really good at it because they control the entire system.
Everything. It's not really fair.
Yeah, well,
because Google's phones get everything day one. Like the only fair comparison to what Apple does is Google's Pixel phones, and they are like probably at a 99% rate or something. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? They're there with Apple. It's just
Well, now technically, what Apple does put out these new updates to way older phones. However, they strip a lot of the features. Yeah. So I mean, as long as we're being transparent here.
This is true. Google's at 3 years. Sometimes Apple goes further back after they break everything down to nothing.
Yes. And then limit your battery and your processor, and they underclock everything. Yeah. So those distribution numbers are up. It's not all that exciting, except for Pi finally made its debut.
Big debut.
We won't see Q on there until December, probably.
Yeah.
And there it is.
All right, we're almost an hour in, so I'm going to start rapid firing a couple of these things off.
Go for it.
Google Duplex, the ask your assistant to call someone to make a reservation thing, is coming to the web soon, and it'll do car rentals and movies, I think.
Yes.
At least that's where Google's going to start. So you'll be able to like quickly log in or something and have it book all the stuff, and it'll ask you like to maybe confirm a couple of items here and there. Should be faster than, maybe just manually doing it. I'm not sure. Either way, it doesn't involve a phone call as far as I could tell. Google Assistant is getting a super fast new version of itself. I don't know if we want to call it 2.0 or what it is, but on stage, they showed a demo of the new Google Assistant where the girl who was demoing it just rapid fired off a whole bunch of commands, and it just like did them one after another. And they also showed during her demo, in the bottom right corner, you could see the assistant like going through its commands, which looks
nice.
Yeah, it's like a new UI that we haven't really seen before, where it kept Google Assistant out of the way while it was doing. So that's coming someday. They didn't really say, is that like in the fall or something, like later this year maybe? They definitely didn't say it was ready. Google Assistant is getting a driving mode where if you hop in your car, you can say like, flip over to driving mode if it doesn't automatically do it, which it could do if it connects to Bluetooth in your car. And driving mode kind of looks a little bit like Android Auto in that it just has like bigger buttons and recommends things for you, helps you get things done quicker. Google Maps is getting an incognito mode for navigation and things like that, which is fabulous in case you don't want any tracking going on there. Google Home alarms and timers, when those are going off now, you can now just yell stop. You don't have to say the hey hot word or whatever and then yell stop. You can just yell stop if it's beeping at you.
It's going to be sweet for the Lenovo smart clock.
Yes, actually, it will be really great for that thing. Android Auto is getting a new look. This was announced before I/O, but Android Auto is getting a fresh new look as well. That's pretty much it out of I/O. I mean, there was other stuff, but those were kind of the big things.
Kind of boring I/O. What was everyone's take on I/O? Was it just kind of uneventful this year?
Yeah, I mean, they announced new hardware, which typically is exciting, except we knew all of it.
Except it was plastic pixels. It's not very exciting.
It was plastic pixels and a new hub, Max, that just made branding confusing rather than focus on the actual product. It seemed like when the Nest Hub Max was being announced, at least in the amphitheater, no one cared. And I know that sounds really weird, and maybe it's because they had just announced the Pixel 3a and 3XL, and people were kind of just thinking about that. But it was like as what's his name, the hardware guy,
Rick.
Yes, Rick Osterloh. Yeah, so as Rick's on stage going through the Nest Hub, I just didn't feel the vibe. Like people were like, "Ooh, this is really cool." And even as he's showing like the face creepy spying stuff, like everyone was just like, "I'm still thinking about Pixel." It was a little quiet in there for that part. But.
Yeah, I want to say stop saying that the phone they used was a Pixel 4 prototype.
No.
I don't think that's what that was.
I don't really think so either.
And why would they do that? Come on, guys. And then also, I was really hoping maybe just for a Pixel Watch. I know we're not talking about Wear OS. I don't think we ever really were expecting them to, but a Pixel Watch would have been sweet, like a new investment into wearables, because that just seems dead to me. So
yeah, they talked about that. They someone asked them at the Android Fireside Chat with all the big Android heads up there, and they just kind of joked about how there's no Wear OS here. They're in the sandbox. But we're really excited about wearables, what they said, and we're investing, and we've hired some people about it. And it's like, yeah, well, you guys have said you're excited about wearables for like 4 years, and it's clear that you're not very excited about wearables, which is weird because that's a product category that's growing, unlike smartphones, which they keep trying to sell lots of. That's like a category that's not. Where is
Google has placed Wear OS along with the cat pee and poo in the sandbox. So yeah.
So Lars said this is related to the prototype phone that everyone is peddling on the internet. He said it's an 855 reference phone, and he's probably right. I bet it was an 855 reference phone, because probably some of the voice recognition and that speed they needed to do probably needed a phone that wasn't a Pixel 3 that runs an 845, and so it probably was a phone in a reference box that had the proper stuff to be able to do what they were doing. I don't.
Nope.
It was May 7th.
Pixel 4.
I do not think there was a Pixel 4 on stage at Google I/O on May 7th, when the Pixel 4 will come out in October. Is this the Pixel Ultra conspiracy guys pushing this? I haven't looked for the Pixel Ultra conspiracy theory guys, like see if they're back. But is that back. Who's pushing this? It's got to be them.
It's got to be. Well, we can look after the show.
It's freaking May. Everyone's like, no, it really wasn't. Austin, how do you know that? You talked to the demo team at I/O, and they strongly suggested. I just don't know that I buy that.
Strongly suggested it was? I think they're joking. They're messing with you.
Although the Russians have it, yeah.
And that's what's funny, right? Because the Pixel 4 will be leaked any day now by the Russians, because something's going on over there. Google's got like a plant or something. I don't know how the Russians are getting them so darn quick. But I mean, if the track record. We knew about the Pixel 3 when we saw it long time before it launched. So we could be seeing Pixel 4 news next week.
Possibly.
It's possible.
Black box prototypes working right now. So, hey, Austin, if they told you that it was like wink, wink, maybe something like that, I mean, I'll take your word for it, but
it's true.
Let's leave it at that, I guess. All right, let's move out of I/O. There's nothing else to say about I/O, right?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. All right, so OnePlus 7 Pro news. Well, we got a little bit of OnePlus 7 news too. Everything that's new that has been announced is T-Mobile said we're the exclusive U.S. carrier. T-Mobile's made this really, really awkward actually too. And Verizon did it with the Pixel line forever. They're like, we're the only place you can get this phone here, right? And T-Mobile's like saying that we're the only place you can get the OnePlus 7 Pro in the U.S. And it's like, well, no, you just go to OnePlus's site and buy it. But they're the only carrier, so yes, technically they're the only like store, I guess you could walk into. But so they're doing that thing, and it that just kind of bugs me because then people like don't know that you can probably just go to OnePlus's site. And also T-Mobile is gonna, I'm sure, carrier lock that thing for however many months they do that until they'll unlock it. So yeah, don't buy it from them unless they give you some stupid deal and you are a T-Mobile customer. OnePlus announced that the display on this thing is HDR10 plus. So you get all the good images and videos and all that fun stuff. They also announced that the storage is UFS 3.0. That's significant because the Galaxy Fold was originally going to be the first phone with UFS 3.0 storage, which is just super duper stupidly fast storage that will make everything you do on your phone faster. It's actually a pretty big deal. Now that the Galaxy Fold is coming someday, the OnePlus 7 Pro will probably be the first phone with UFS 3.0 storage. So that's actually a pretty big deal. They announced that they don't have an IP rating for the phone and announced that by dropping the phone in a bucket, only to suggest that you should not drop it in the bucket, and that they didn't do IP rating because they have to pay for an IP rating, and that cost then gets pushed onto you. And it all seems like a bunch of hogwash that, like, just make it IP certified.
How old are you?
I know. So every once in a while I throw those out just to like see if you're like, oh, you're old.
Hey there, 1950s Kellen. How you doing?
I said something last week too, like, and you were like, that is really old. I can't remember what it was. But
my dad used to say hogwash.
I know, it's a great like old person term.
It is. Because who's washing hogs in 2019? Nobody.
What? Yeah.
So not a fan of OnePlus and their marketing strategy. I think they should have all just been let go a long time ago. They never seem to have like a great marketing department. I think there's a better way
they do it all
to
for
spin
free, though.
That your phone is water resistant,
part,
just doesn't have an IP rating. But doesn't matter. They dropped it in a bucket. They highly suggest you don't do the same. It's just silly. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Why not give us an IP rating? That's my question. I understand that it might be expensive. Y'all can afford it. Come on, and like
you've been passing along up higher cost to us with each phone anyway. Tell me, can
exactly
IP in there?
You know why people pay $1,000 for a really good phone is because it has all the things.
Yeah.
OnePlus, I'm not going to spend a ton of money if it doesn't have all the things. Like I'm spending $1,000 on an S10 Plus because it has that water resistance. It has a Quad HD display. It's got everything I would ever want in a smartphone. So why would OnePlus keep bumping up their prices and not really? All they're doing is, oh, we've got like a cooler display now, or oh, we got a better processor in there. Give me like the best camera. Give me the IP rating. Charge me $800, whatever, but at least I'll have everything that I want. So I don't know. They just have a different approach to things that I don't necessarily agree with at times. But
well, they're the company that said like, we're not putting NFC in a phone because no one uses NFC, right? And then
never settle OnePlus.
Yeah, I mean they're the company that always says like, well, you don't need this because no one's doing that, or this isn't popular yet, or and then everyone goes, actually no, you're wrong there, and then they fix it the next time. I mean, they're the ones that said like, headphone jacks are the thing, you should always buy our phones, and then like 4 months later it was like, no one needs headphone jacks anymore. So yeah, they make some weird decisions from time to time.
Yeah, it's very peculiar.
I believe they confirmed this week too that they're going to adjust the vibration motor in the phone and make it greatly improved.
Yeah. Bob asked a great question. He says, Tim, where's the first place you'd be willing to make a compromise to save money? It would be the display. I don't need Quad HD.
Yeah,
I would be fine with Full HD Plus, whatever. Is that 2220 by 1080, whatever res. As long as it's Full HD. I'm totally fine with that. When I stream content on my phone, I never have it bumped up to 4K anyway. None of the games I'm playing are
it's
like,
a good story
4K.
Idea.
Yeah. I don't need Quad HD. God, that's
what would you be willing to give up for a price drop? For me, it's that. I'd go 1080p, and I don't need wireless charging.
Yeah, I don't need wireless charging either. However, someone said drop NFC. Sir, how dare you? My bank recently started supporting Samsung Pay after like 3 years, and while that is not NFC, it's MST. Uh, oh, life changing. I love Samsung Pay. Back the truck up, Samsung. I will pimp Samsung Pay to my death. I love it, love it, love
See,
it.
and I'm the guy that just uses Google Pay even on Samsung phones.
Yeah, but I can use Samsung Pay in like
Everywhere.
universally
Everywhere.
millions of terminals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's glorious.
Scott
And the
McDonald-
guys, I'm always putting the phone up, and they say, "Oh, sorry, no Siri or no Apple Pay." I'm like, "Don't worry about
Watch
it.
this, brother.
I got it."
Scott McDonald says 1080p and plastic. See, the plastic thing, I would totally give up the metal and glass as well. If it was like that old HTC plastic from the was it the original one?
The 1A7 or 1 something.
It was something.
What was
1.7. Yeah. What was that phone? Remember the first one that was plastic and it didn't really come to the US?
It was like that fancy subtle polycarbonate or whatever they called it.
The 1X. That
1X.
was it.
Yeah, 1X.
Yeah,
Dude, that
Lars said 1X.
phone was so hot.
Yeah, so if they like do that nice plastic, I'm totally down with that.
I'm fine with that.
Again, this isn't like the worst plastic ever. I think it's just shocking to me because every phone I own now is glass and metal that this just feels weird. But yeah, the plastic thing I would probably do too. But yeah, for me it's 1080p display. Just give me that, and I don't need wireless charging. And sure, throw in plastic. Give it to me. I don't really need stereo speakers either. I know that's gonna like probably piss some people off, but I don't do a lot of media listening with the speakers on my phone. So
sure.
drop the
You're
stereo
alone
speakers
there.
too. Yeah, I'm definitely alone there.
Dude. And when the 1X had the Beats by Dre and stuff, like
Oh yeah.
those were the sickest phones in the world. What happened, HTC?
That was
What
the
are you
beginning of the end, I
doing?
think. Like the 1X when it didn't come here.
No way. Because they had the 1M7, I think, destroyed.
No, it did not. That was like
Yes, it
that
did.
was where the 1M7 came out and everyone, all the media people were like, this is so great because it's metal and it's so great. And then no one bought that phone. Like that didn't like their decline was like well established when the 1M7 came out. And then they made the bad 1M8 and the bad 1M9. Like it just was like, but the 1X was hot. I had one. I imported one, I think, or something like that. It was great.
I specifically recall BGR saying the 1M7 was like the most gorgeous phone of all time, and I actually agreed with them. I was like, this is a pretty good looking phone. But then the 1X, HTC, they had the
It
best
had the big nipple
design
on the back.
phones.
I'm looking at it now. The big nipple on the back.
Big
camera.
nipple cam, nip
Oh, yeah.
cam.
I mean, it was
Love
legitimate
cam.
nip cam. Yeah.
That's nip cam. Because, I mean, it even came up, right? Like, that's big nip
Yeah.
cam.
That phone was dope.
It was dope. Real quickly, I saw a comment here I wanted to touch on. Eli Kuznikov, my favorite name to say. Tim, I also started using Samsung Pay, even though every place here is NFC compatible. But how to use gestures with it literally replaces go home gesture. What the F were they thinking? Dude, no one has the foresight to solve these simple problems. Samsung also. So I just use the gesture, and on my Samsung, I just use the 3 buttons. I tried using gestures on the Galaxy S10, but man, I hated them so much. I just thought they were super clanky. Didn't really work for me. So I've been using buttons, and so for me, the gesture to swipe up to get the card works fine. I'm sorry. Right, Samsung. I don't know what to tell you.
Sean says the 1M7 was hot. I'm not going to say that it wasn't not hot. I just don't think it sold well. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. The all metal was like, it looked nice and it had that was the first like boom sound and all that stuff. And everyone thought it was that was like what ushered Android phones into the era of metal is the most premium thing ever. I'm just saying, I don't think it sold well at all.
Well, don't forget their terrible marketing with Ultra Pixel, which was actually just like a 4 megapixel camera or whatever. Like, oh man, like they messed up in some places.
And then they brought the 4 megapixel back for the 1M8 after everyone went, you can't sell us a 4 megapixel camera. And then they were like, no, we'll do it one more time.
Yeah, it had like a secondary
a depth sensor.
Yeah, so HTC, then it's not ideal, but they tried, man.
Just bring back that good plastic. I'm down with All right, last couple of topics. Samsung Galaxy Fold news. So at the beginning of the week, anyone who pre-ordered it got an email that said, hey, do you want to keep your pre-order? Because we don't know when this thing's coming. If you do, you have to click this button. This is yes, I want to keep it. And apparently there's some sort of U.S. regulation, according to Samsung, where they have to notify customers about these things, and that's why they did that. However, like a day later in Korea, they said, like, we think we figured out what's wrong with it, and we will decide on a date soon. So the Galaxy Fold, we still don't know the exact date, but we think it's we think we're going to get a date soon. I don't know if that means they still need to remanufacture the whole damn phone or what the hell they're doing, but the $2,000 phone is not dead.
Thank goodness.
Yep. Oh, and finally, Sonos, the speaker company, announced that next week they're finally putting Google Assistant in the Sonos One and the Sonos Beam. They've been talking about this for almost 2 years, and they are finally going to do it next week.
Kellen doesn't believe it.
It's kind of hard to like really, really believe it. But if they do next week, great. Great. Oh, you got the lights on. Oh, it's time. It's time.
Stretch it out.
Trivia time. We still need like trivia, music, something.
Music.
We need some buttons. We need to spice this podcast up even more. Trivia time. If you're new around here, it's the end of the show. We have DL trivia, 5 questions related to the show, maybe not related to the show. If you're watching live on YouTube, in the chat, when we post a question, you just jump in there and type as fast as you can and hit enter. And if you're right and you're the first person to be right in the chat, you win a prize. So we have 5 questions. We're giving every winner $10 in Google Play credit. If you're in the chat and you're seeing people type 12, that's just kind of a running joke, which is never an answer. Some people are saying 144p. They're saying drop your resolution as low as it can go so that you can get that super fast connection. If you need to refresh right now to get an even faster connect, whatever you need to do, because it kind of is all dependent on your latency, I think.
Activate that 5G.
Yeah, because Tim and I will just see who's first on our screen, and that's who wins. And that often doesn't match up with your screen, so you just have to trust us. Either way, you have a chance to win free stuff right now.
Yeah, and if Kellen hasn't already mentioned, we've got 5 $10 Google Play credit numbers, codes, to net you a sweet app, game, movie rental, book, whatever the heck you want to buy.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've given you long enough.
I think they've had plenty of time to get fresh.
Test. We see you, Ben. Test. Check 1, 2.
He's got 2 devices.
Jesus.
That's dedication there.
I love it. I love to see the hustle.
Ben wants to know which is better. Should we tell him which is better? Which one posted first?
Nope.
No, yeah, we can't.
We're not here to help. But best of luck to everybody.
I'll tell you after the show, Ben.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 1, please.
All right. Question number 1 is up now.
What year did Nest offer its first product, its smart thermostat, to the public? Again, what year did Nest offer its first product, the smart thermostat, to the public? Ooh, I'm seeing an answer that I think I'm going to accept.
I think I know what you're about to say, but I don't think you should.
Really?
I don't think. Are you looking at Clinton? Because I don't think you should. I think he's just joking because he's the 12 guy.
Okay.
I think Eddie Daniels should win that.
All right, I'm going to go with Eddie Daniels then with the correct answer of 2011. Sorry, Clinton, if you were actually like just 11, 20, but we're going to have to go with Eddie Daniels with the full correct answer of 2011.
I mean, Clinton can try to convince me right now, but he's the guy that started the 12 thing, and so he's just joking, I think, with the 11, and it just happened to be the almost answer.
It's possible. But yeah, Eddie Daniels, congratulations.
Scott McDonald, you were not like 10. I don't even know where you are on the list, Scott McDonald.
Sorry, man. We got to go with what we see.
Scott McDonald, you said 2009. That's wrong. And then you said 2000. And then you said 2008. That was wrong too. That's funny.
Clinton, being a gentleman, saying I was just joking. That's so funny. I mean, the timing there was incredible. It was pretty good, yeah. Because, yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're moving on. Eddie Daniels.
Eddie Daniels, you win. Congratulations.
Question number 2, please.
Question number 2 is up now.
How much RAM is in the Pixel 3a and Pixel 3a XL? Again, how much RAM is in the Pixel 3a and Pixel 3a XL? Hey, look at that, Scott McDonald.
There's Scott
With the
McDonald
correct
with the
answer of
correct-
4 gigs. Dude, congratulations.
Scott McDonald, you actually did win that with 4 gigs. Zach Webb right there. Scott Washington right there. Evan Brown right there. Scott McDonald first on our screen.
Fantastic. Oh, he's got to be happy now. Scott McDonald, congratulations. With the fire. The quickness.
That was pretty quick.
Super
You guys
quick.
have some quick connections today.
Yeah. All right. Not 12. Just 4. All right. Congratulations. Eli, we see you with the test. Everyone testing, we see you. All right. Question number 3, please.
Question number 3 is up now.
What size battery does the Galaxy Fold offer? Again, what size battery does the Galaxy Fold offer? I understand a lot of people will not know this right off the top of their head. I saw real close to the right answer.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to have to scroll through all of
Yeah,
this. Are you
scroll
kidding me? All right, guys, give us a second here. Someone had the right numbers, just in the wrong order.
Yep. I don't know that anyone has gotten it perfectly. Oh, there we go. Did Ben Jacobs just get it? Oh, wait, no. Hold on. Nate Clemens, possibly?
Ben Jacobs is the first one I'm seeing.
No, Eli's up there. Oh, my God. I can't keep up with this thing. Well, all right. So the correct answer is 4380, by the way.
4380.
We're just seeing who was first now because everyone was so wrong. I feel bad for Wade County because he put 4830.
I see Nate Clements ahead of Ben Jacobs by a substantial margin.
I'm looking. I see Eli before both of them then.
Oh, yep. I also see Eli there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me scroll up from Eli. Guys, we want to make sure we get this right because $10 of Google Play credit is no joke.
I think it's Eli. Eli's above both of them on my screen.
Yeah, with Wade County, you were so close at 4830, and that just threw a wrench in my whole thing. Because it's like, oh, he got it. But no, I'm dyslexic. All right, I'm seeing Eli Kuznikov.
I'm seeing Eli as well.
Eli, man. Whew. Congratulations.
That one got a little wild there.
It did. I wasn't prepared. Eli Kuznikov, congratulations. Correct answer, 4380 milliamp hour Galaxy Fold battery. All right. Oh, let's just move on. Never doing trivia again. All right. Question number 4, please.
Question number 4 is up now.
What was the original code name for Google Assistant? I love this. What was the original code name for Google Assistant? Google now. Come on, guys. There's not no code names. Come on,
This thing's about
people.
to explode too.
I know. Ugh, I see a misspelling of it. There we go. Nope, Eddie Daniels already won once. Can't win again.
Zach Webb's below him then.
All right, Zachary Webb with the correct answer of Magel.
Is it Magel or Mayel?
Mayel.
Mayel?
We're gonna do the whole pronunciation thing here. Magel. Magel.
I don't know how you would say it.
I've always pronounced it Magel.
Oh, see, I would totally turn that into like a Y. Michael Siegel, you almost there. You just spelled it Margel.
Womp womp.
And then A down, you can't win twice. Which left? Who did you just say won?
Zachary Webb, right? Rough day. Zachary Webb.
Tough questions. What's with the tough questions, all right?
I didn't think it was that hard. Thought you guys were like some Android experts in here.
Did anyone say how you're supposed to say it? Did anyone correct the Magel Mayel? I have no idea.
It's named that way for
Something from Star Trek, right?
Roddenberry's wife or whoever that was, the name of the computer or whatever on Star Trek. I don't know, man. I'm a Star Wars guy.
No one's even trying to like tell us how to pronounce it, which is great.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, that's what it was. So now it's Google Assistant. Thank goodness.
All right, Zach Webb, you won.
Congratulations, Zach Webb. All right. Let's go with question number 5, please. I got to get the hell out of here.
Question number 5 is up now.
As of right now, how many devices have access to Android Q Beta 3? Again, as of right now, how many devices have access? Oh, I see the correct Bob DeLama.
Bob DeLama.
Oh, Bob DeLama, thank you for getting that right off the bat. Bob DeLama. Love your name, by the way.
21 is the right answer there.
Yes. Whew.
Bob DeLama.
Bob DeLama. Congratulations.
Nikhil and Bertzer and Evan and Mike, you were all close. Bob DeLama first on the screen. 21.
Bob DeLama.
Ben says, why is it 21? That's just what they said.
That's what they said.
All the Pixels and then all of the other devices. I actually think that it's like 1 or 2 higher because OnePlus like is going to include the 6 and stuff like that. But the number that Google said was 21. So that's what we're going with. 21 is 12 backwards. I know it was kind of a trick question for those 12 people.
Sorry, 12 people. I go out the day trying to figure out, like, oh, what would be 12 be a good answer for?
Yeah.
So one day it will be. Either way, cheers to all of our winners. We've got Eddie Daniels, Scott McDonald, Eli Kuznikov, Zachary Webb, and Bob DeLama. Now, winners, you are tasked with emailing me, and I'm going to get your codes out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. Easy peasy. I want a nice, clean system. Boom.
Email Tim now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Well, no, I added the OnePlus 6. So 15 plus Google's 6 phones. 21, yeah. I mean, the OnePlus 6, OnePlus has said is a part of it. I don't know that you can download it yet for the 6, but Google doesn't even list the 6 on its own like developer site. So it's like technically could be 22, but Google said 21. And if you don't count the OnePlus 6, which Google doesn't even count, it's 21. Just to like clear that all up. Yeah.
I like 21. And that's what they said on stage. So
yeah, see, Nick said not yet for the 6. So it will be, it's just not yet. So right now it's 21. And they said on stage 21.
Next week's question will be how many is available. For now, it'll be 22. So
yeah,
there much. You go. And shout out to everyone who donated. Kellen, if you want to read all those out real quick. All donations,
yeah, all the donations.
By the way, going to Oregon Humane Society.
Yep, so anyone who donated, as we mentioned at the start of the show, for the next 2 months, any donations that roll in, we're giving them all to the Oregon Humane Society at the end of June. So Bert, PC747, Russell, Jorge, Patrick, Jay Mill, Scott Washington, Luke, John, Alex, Muck, Gary, Ron, Eddie, and Ryan, all with donations. Really, really appreciate those. We're just going to total them up, drop big fat dono to the OHS, and we'll let you guys know how much it was. It's going to be fantastic.
Shout out to the Scott McDonald with the $5 donation.
Oh, sneaking that in there. Thank you, Scott.
He's sneaky.
Appreciate that.
Shout out to the Blazers. Shout out to the San Jose Sharks. Shout out to the Nuggets for making this a darn good series. Game 7. Gotta love
Sunday. Game 7 Sunday.
Best thoughts and hopes and prayers out to Kevin Durant. We hope he gets better soon. I love KD. Don't. You reminded me of Larry David a little bit right there. But Kevin Durant, dude, he's the best player in the world.
My favorite thing
you don't want him to be hurt.
This is like the sad stories about like, oh, now like this is sad. Like Kevin Durant said, they have 3 more All-Stars. Like I do not feel an ounce of sadness towards the Golden State. Let's just buy a couple of championships and act like we're the greatest team ever.
Curry has to make more shots. Oh no.
Yeah, Curry, the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, now actually has to shoot a little bit. I feel so bad for them. Oh, those poor Warriors. Those poor Warriors. What are they gonna do?
I would love to see a Warriors-Blazers matchup solely for the Steph versus Seth matchup.
Sans Kevin Durant, so the Blazers have a chance. Yeah, I'm down.
Well,
for that.
sure, yeah. I think Mo Harkless could lock up Kevin Durant.
Oh my god. That is,
It's possible.
I mean, if the Blazers somehow beat Denver, it's they're not getting through to, the Warriors. Sorry.
If Mo gets possessed by the spirit of Scottie Pippen, anything's possible.
That could be.
Lock 'em up.
Anything's possible. All right, that's Sunday. So you know what Tim and I will be doing, watching the Blazers. Anything else? Have a safe weekend. I need to go find some sun.
Get some sun, dude.
I need to go find
Digital
sun.
Life with a $2 donation. Thank you.
sorry.
Don't want to miss that.
Digital Life, thank you for the $2. All right, cool. Well, thanks everyone. Please have a safe weekend. Enjoy some sun in a safe way. If you do, go find some sun. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.